Shalom לכל Israelites בברזיל ובאחרים עמים, ואני אסף בן עמי כריספי לוי אשר מדבר איתכם. אני ראיתי רוצה לדבר על השובה של סוכות. Here the elder Asaf Ben Ami Crispin Levi, and I would like to speak with you about the importance of the Sukot. And I invite you to read with me in Torah, the book of Vaikra, Leviticus, chapter 23 and verses 34. Speak to the children of Israel, saying, on the 15th day of the 7th month is the festival of Booths for 7 days to Yahweh. On the first day is a set-apart gathering. You do no servile work. For 7 days you bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. On the 8th day there shall be a set-apart gathering for you, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. It's a closing festival. You do no servile work. These are the appointed times of Yahweh, which you proclaim as set-apart gatherings, to bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh, a burnt offering and a grain offering, a slaughtering and drink offerings, as commanded for every day. Besides the Sabbath of Yahweh, and besides your gifts, and besides all your vows, and besides all your voluntary offerings which you give to Yahweh, on the 15th day of the 7th month, when you gather in the fruit of the land, observe the festival of Yahweh for 7 days. On the first day is a rest, and on the 8th day a rest. And you shall take for yourselves on the first day the fruit of good trees, branches of palm trees, twigs of leafy trees, and willows of the stream, and shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim for 7 days. And you shall observe each as a festival to Yahweh for 7 days in the year, a law forever in your generations. Observe each in the 7th month. Dwell in booths for 7 days. All who are native Israelites dwell in booths, so that your generations know that I made the children of Israel dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim, Egypt. I am Yahweh, your Elohim. Thus did Moshe speak of the appointed times of Yahweh to the children of Israel. And today at the sunset, and we, from sunset of today until sunset of tomorrow, is the first night and the first day of the Sukot, or Feast of the Booth. And this morning we're going to the forest, and we get trees, branches of trees, and we make a booth, a tabernacle, according the Torah, according the words that came out from Yahweh's mouth. And I think that it will be celebration the entire road by the Israelites from the 12 tribes of Israel. Well, the importance of the Sukot is very great because it symbolizes the millennium that we are going to pass with Yahushua ben Yosef, and he will reign the entire road, henceforth Jerusalem, and he will reign the nations with a rod of iron. And I would like to read some excerpts that I have prepared about the Sukot. Hag Sukot begins on the 15th day of the 7th month, that it is tonight, because tonight is full moon as well, and the Sukot just the first night of Sukot and the first night of Pesach, and just falls in the first night of the full moon, when you started the Rosh Chodesh Habib by the Kiseh of the new moon. Well, Hag Sukot begins on the 15th day of the 7th month and calls for big celebration. 7 days. Yom HaKippurim, the most solemn appointment on the Covenanters' annual agenda, 10th day, is just passed. And as the designation reveals, Hag Sukot is about a big celebration for very state reasons. And we celebrated the Yom Kippur 50 days ago, the day of affliction, and now 5 days after we have Simcha, we have happiness in Yahweh. This feast contains the full reality of the Creator's 7th day, Sabbath decided, but for 1,000 years. 1,000 years. In Vayikra, chapter 23, the Yahweh's agenda, the feast of Sukot appear as 7, with Yom Shabbat, the same likeness of Yom Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom begins the first of 8. At the fulfillment, the feast of Sukot is the occasion for the biggest celebration of all time. And because Hag Sukot is known of Feast of the Tabernacles, but also named in scriptures the Feast of Booths, the season of our joy, the time of great joy as well. And it is evidently that we Israelites that love the Brit Olam, we're going to celebrate Hag Sukot. At the fulfillment of the Feast of Sukot is the occasion for the big celebration at all time. Remember, the redemption event, the first resurrection, has just taken place 5 days ago, when the finished the Yom Kippur. From 50 years to 50 years occurs the redemption event, and we are near this redemption event, when our Redeemer, Yahushua ben Yosef, will come to rescue us in the 7th millennium, at the beginning of 7th millennium. The Creator and His kingdom of heaven have now assumed total role and authority over planet Earth. The redeemed of Yahweh have been gathered from the four corners of the earth to the Mount of Assembly, Mount Zion, to my Kadosh, holy mountain, namely Mount Zion, the mount of the assembly, gathering. You can check in these biblical verses in Isaiah chapter 56, verse 7, Devarim 30, verse 1, 4, Hizkiel 37, Matityahu 24, and the verses 30 and 31, Psalms 107, and verse 1 to 3, Isaiah 35, chapter 35, verse 10, and there are several verses that confirms that I am speaking. Well, preparations have been made for the big celebration of all time, to begin the 15th day, full moon, like I explained before, the first night of the Sukot and the first night of Pesach just falls, just occur in the first night of a full moon. The covenant Torah instructs 7 days you shall live in Sukot, Booths-tabernacles, for 7,000 years, or 7 cosmic days pertain to this present age or world, our temporary dwelling, or being 140 jubilees. The first day of the great feast of Yahweh, Sukot, is designated a Shabbat rest for each ushers in the millennial Sabbath. The 7th day of Hag Sukkot is known as Rosh Ana Arba, according to Yohanan ben Ephraim, a Jew writer that lived in Canada, that was an expert to speak about the Hamoedim, the feast. But this day is not an official Sabbath, because this day signifies the official end of time and this age world, namely 140 jubilees, or being 7,000 years. The 7th day of this feast is not a Sabbath, for this day phases into Shemini Atzeret age assembly. A Sabbath for this appointment is the representation of Yahweh's eternal realm, his timeless realm. Revelations, or Revelation is a biblical book called Apocalypse as well, or Gilead, or His Gallows. In the chapter 21 and chapter 22 provides all the specific details of what happens when time has run out. Note the second resurrection is destined to take place at the completion of the great millennial Sabbath, or Shabbat. We also commemorate the birth of Yahushua, Yahweh's Messiah's anointed, the son of David into the flesh. Following the covenant concept, we can easily establish that he was born on the first day of this feast, and that we received the sign of my covenant in your flesh, Bereshit 17, the circumcision, Brit Milah. On the 8th day, Yahushua was born, and the first day of Sukkot, of the booth, and he was circumcised in the 8th day to fulfill the scriptures. It's clearly showed in the book of Galatians, or Galutia, in chapter 4, verse 4. And being completed the times of Ramoedim, Yahweh sent his son, was born of women, according to Torah. Well, In Luke chapter 2, verses 10 to 12, provides the details. But the majority of translators, being ignorant of the covenant, ever fail to convey the covenant correct facts. And let's read Luke chapter 2, verse 10 to 12 to clear our minds. The messenger angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news of great joy for all people." Remember that at the beginning of this video, I spoke about the designations of Feast of Booths and the Sukot. Good news of great joy for all people. This day, in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is Yahweh's Messiah anointed. This is the sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloth and lying in a sukkah, not in a manger, like the Catholic Roman Church affirms that. The sukkah is the sign of 7-day Hag Sukot. Sukot is one of the 3 regalim feasts, Devarim, chapter 16, verse 16. Luke 2 must be viewed from the Hebrew perspective and understood through knowledge of the covenant faith. Shemini Atzeret, literal 8th assembly or the 8th day, is the final appointment on the annual covenant agenda. The covenant agenda is in Vaikra chapter 23. This annual Sabbath follows upon the 7th day of Sukot, but yet is a separate appointment by itself. Some way as Passover on PM Eve 14th is actually separate from Feast of Unleavened Bread from 15th to 21st. This day conveys the reality of what is should take place after the 7 days. 7,000 years are completed. H denotes new beginning, for when the 7,000 years are completed, then the timeless dimension known as eternity officially commences here upon earth. This is part reason for Sunday observance by well-meaning Roman Christianity, which claims that Sunday is the image of the 8th day, but they forget that the 7th day, as decreed by the Creator, concludes with his magnificent Shabbat Shalom, 7th day. In order to arrive at eternity, we must journey through Gate 7, the sign, the Creator, 7th day. Shemini Atzeret is separate from Hag Sukot, for it denotes new beginning. Details, Revelation 21:22. And the religions and its daughters ever speaks, or the 3 religions and its daughters ever speaks about the eternal, Olam Haba. But neither of them passes correctly by the Gate 7, that is Shabbat, Yom Teruah, Yom Hel, year sabbatical, and it's important to observe the 7. Well, Shemini Atzeret is separate from Hag Sukot, for it denotes new beginning. Details Revelation 21:22. Remember again, the annual covenant cycle commences with Hodesh Rabib and begin with Passover, unleavened bread, liberation, salvation from Satan, Pharaoh, the murderous tyrant. Next follows Shavuot, Pentecost, with celebration confirmed, sealed into the covenant. Then follow the 4 appointments, which are about preparation for the redemption event, the redemption, and finally the huge Chag celebration that follows the magnificent redemption, restoration event. Preparation time was required before the Messiah could appear on the scene at his first coming. That the Eternal One bless you, that will listen to this explanation about the eternal covenant and the feast of Yom Sukot. It's very important to observe the Torah, the words that came out from Yahweh's mouth. Yahweh Baruch Atah V'Ramishpahaga Shalom Lekulam Bayom Ramishi אנחנו חוזרים עם אחר לימוד. שלום לכולם. And זאת הברכה של זקן אסף בן עמי קריספין לוי מיישוב ישראלית ברזיל. שלום לכולם.